Hello everyone, welcome to our big table host training instruction video. This is Kathy Berkey,
Hello.
And my name's Judd Hendricks, and we're here to give you everything you need to know in order to host a table at the big table event. First, we want to say thank you because you are the ones that really make the big table happen. The key element to the big table is the conversation that happens around the tables in the small groups, and you are the ones that help facilitate that experience. So thank you for giving your time and energy and talent to making the big table happen, and that to be a great experience for everyone. We're going to give you everything you need to know about the big table, but first we want to share a little bit about why are we doing the big table? What's the purpose behind it? We all come to it with some different ideas and hopes for it. Kathy, what's so meaningful about the big table to you?
Yeah, the thing to me is that I love it, how this makes more resiliency for our city. It binds us together in this way that, you sit down at a table and you get to know people that were strangers before that. And then at the end of it, you have a sense of their background. You have a sense of who they are as people, really as people. And that understanding of each other, I think, creates a community in which we can operate with that level of understanding, which I think is helpful. How about you?
Yeah, I think, some of the stories that we've heard from past experiences have been really meaningful. We've had groups that have met at the big table and then continue to meet once a month and have potlucks together. And we had a couple that met there and got married. And so it's just a way of connecting with people that normally we may not connect with, especially in this time when we're so polarized around our differences. It's great to just come together in the midst of those differences and through those differences to connect to each other as fellow humans. It feels like it's a symbol for what Louisville wants to be and who we want to be as a community. So yeah, I'm excited again to have the opportunity to host this event. Yeah. So tell us what happens when we show up.
Okay, so when you arrive, imagine 250 tables set up it's on the road that's behind the amphitheater at Iroquois Park. So you will come and you'll first sort of claim your table. Tables are not assigned ahead of time. It's just sort of as you arrive, you kind of pick your table that you will host, and then the participants will come later.
You can enter either from either side too. There's two entrances on either side of the road. You can park to the right or park to the left of the amphitheater, and you can come in either one of those directions, and we'll have a reception area there to invite you to get a table.
Yeah. So when you arrive, kind of orient yourself to your area. First, you'll notice that the tables are arranged in pods. So you'll see them in alternating colors of blue and orange with a brown food table in the middle. You also will have a packet of materials at each table. That's going to include your name tags, also an instruction sheet of everything that we're telling you today, step by step of what to do minute by minute during the big table. You will also notice you'll have allergy cards, which is a simple ingredient list for all of the dishes that people will be bringing. So as your participants come to your table, please ask them to fill that out. It'll be things like, this contains nuts or this contains dairy, just so everyone knows a little bit more about what they're eating. Another part of the event is that you will be the people who are welcoming all of our participants to this. So you remember that feeling when you were in middle school where you're walking into the cafeteria and you don't know where to sit down? You were the ones to help soothe that feeling. You were the ones to help people feel welcome and make it feel easy and make them feel invited to come in. So now we're in the timeline as participants are arriving right around 5 o'clock. And so they come in, you get them to sit down. You invite them to put their food at the food table and find a seat at one of the seating tables. Another thing is that if groups arrive, several people all at the same time, invite them to divide themselves among different tables as they feel comfortable. That's going to be different for every person, and it's fine no matter what it is.
And it just reminds them the purpose of the event is to get to know people you don't know already. So we encourage people to diversify the tables as they're comfortable. And they can stay in a similar area because there are 4 other conversation tables. So they can be in the same area and share the same food table, but they'll be having conversation with people they don't know.
Yeah, it usually works out okay. It's usually the part that people are nervous about, but it works out fine.
Yeah.
So from there, let's talk about, we fill up our plates, we sit down, and...
So around 5:15, or when your area begins to get full, or once you have 6 to 8 people at your table, you can all go through the table line together. So you can pick a plate and silverware, which we will have there at the table. And you just get to pick this amazing food that people have given such time and energy to help create that represents their story. And so once people have filled their plates, you can invite the people that are at your table to sit down. And then we have this little simple storytelling game that we play to help people get to know each other. There are 3 decks of cards, and you'll put those out on the table in 3 different decks. And those are based upon the depth or level of sharing in the deck. So the first deck is kind of icebreaker questions that are pretty simple to answer, but the other decks go a little bit more intimate and require a little more sharing. And you can invite people to go around and pick a card from whichever deck that they're the most comfortable sharing from. And they pick a card like, here's a card, what's a meaningful family tradition, or here's a way you express your creativity. So you just simply invite people to go around and answer the question. We don't encourage cross-talking or people to ask them questions about their answer, but we encourage them just to go around and everybody gets the chance to answer their question. There are plenty of questions there, so you can go around as many times as you have time for and you feel like it's helpful. Usually after a couple of rounds, people are ready to kind of engage each other in more casual conversations around their answers and make connections with each other. So you as a facilitator can just see how that feels if you want to keep using the cards or move into conversation. We really encourage you as a table facilitator to make sure that everybody shares and that some people don't share too much. So just kind of pay attention to that and draw out people that may be quiet, or if you have children at the table, you may encourage them to draw their answer or make sure they're also included in the conversation. And for about an hour and 15 minutes, we really encourage you to stay centered in the conversation at your table. There'll be people getting up and getting more food, but we encourage you to keep that space pretty sacred so that people can have a chance to get to know each other and really kind of lean into each other and hear each other's answers to each other's questions. So, after that happens, we encourage you, the last round of questions, we encourage you to ask the question, what was meaningful about what you heard or what happened at the table? And that's just a way for everybody to kind of bring closure to your conversation and to share what was meaningful and important to them.
Yeah. So after that, as you're wrapping up, there are two other pieces of material in your packet that we want to draw your attention to. So first, please pass out the survey. It's a very brief survey. There will be pens in your packet for everyone to fill out. The other is a flyer about a new program that we are launching at the big table. This is the big debut. It is called Civic Dinners. This is sort of the next iteration, the next offering that the Big Table is giving to our community. The Big Table is a great event to have this, giant event where we can really see our community all together. But we also recognize that we want to offer places that are smaller, even more intimate, where we can talk about the things that are trickier to talk about. So Civic Dinners is a program where people like you, like us, everyone can host a conversation at a restaurant or in their home, at an organization. And we are offering, for now, 4 different topics and what these conversations can be about. One of them is courageous conversations on race. The other one is finding common ground across political differences, religious polarity, and then also one called The Lovable City, which is really talking about Louisville itself. So we're so excited to launch that.
It's going to be really cool.
Yes. And we hope that before the event, you will look at civicdinners.com/thebigtable and just familiarize yourself with what it is, so that you can talk about it with the rest of your group, and encourage them to participate too, and hopefully you will participate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great way to get the word out and us have continued conversations in homes and restaurants. And you can also purchase or give a donation, and you can get the deck of conversation cards. This year we're coming out with a whole new deck of cards called Louisville Conversation Cards, and they have 3 different sections. One section you'll be using today, but there are 2 other sections around social change and addressing issues that are pertinent specifically to Louisville and how we can come together and make change. So you're welcome to take those cards. You can give a donation at either of the entrances, and you can instruct people if they want to purchase those cards or make a donation, that they can do that at the entrances where they came in.
Yeah.
And after it's over, we're doing something new this year, based upon what we heard from previous years, is we're going to have 3 different areas where you can play music. If so, bring an instrument if you play an instrument, and there'll be a jazz musician there to help orchestrate us having a jam session. Or if you play a drum or have a drum, on the other end there'll be a drum circle, and you can play drums. And then in the center there'll be a singing circle, so someone will be leading and just singing, because we heard as we're cleaning up the tables, people want to hang out and they want to connect with each other. So we thought these would be 3 different ways. So if you play a drum, play an instrument, or you have a great voice or just like to sing, afterwards find the circle that fits you and join in some jam sessions.
Yeah. Another thought about cleanup. So after your event or your table is done, please take your paper table covering off, put that in the recycling bin near you, and then please fold down your tables and your chairs and place them on the closest pallet next to you. So you will see them on the sides of the road. And if you can just stack that on there, that's going to help us out so much.
And there may be some tables that aren't being used, and if you see some of those tables, if you'd help us take those down as well. One of the things that may happen is we may have more table hosts than we have participants. If that's the case, then we invite you, or you may not be a complete full table. If you have just 3 or 4 people, you may want to join with another table. So you have kind of freedom to self-organize so that you have full table experiences during the event.
So
I think that's it. And one of the important things at the closing, a lot of times people like to take pictures of their group, and we really encourage you to do that.
Swap information.
Share information, so maybe people can get together outside of that. But if you would get a picture of your group and then hashtag it, the Big Table 502, we really want to populate social media with our experience and encourage people to come next year. So take a picture of your experience and put it on Facebook and social media.
And please send it to me, kathy.berkey@gmail.com. Just send me your group photo.
And if you don't remember all of this, it's all good, because we're going to send you a sheet that's got the instructions that take each of those sections and have more detailed instructions. So if you have questions before the big table, you're welcome to contact Kathy Berkey or myself, and you can go on to the bigtable502.com and download the information sheet, or check out other information that you may want to need to know. Thank you so much for being a host, and be sure to invite all your family and friends. We hope to have 2,000 people this year, so invite everybody you know to join us this Sunday, September 15th at 5 to 7, and we ask you to be there at 4 o'clock so you can help us set up the tables.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you on Sunday.